Welcome, welcome. First webcast of 2016. We are excited to be here. It's January 11th, 2016. Wow, when we said see you next year, we didn't realize it would happen this fast. The time has just flown by. So we're so excited tonight. We're going to deal with the yoga pant. This webcast, next webcast, we just got all kinds of fun things planned for you all. So we appreciate that you're here. We appreciate that you're listening and watching. And traditionally, we're not going to change anything with these webcasts. We like them. We like how they go. You like them. You tell us you like them. So we trust you that you like them. The first 15 minutes, the webcast is 1 hour. The first 15 minutes are questions and answers. You know, we don't hold that to the minute, but then we start in with whatever lesson we do. So the first 15 minutes is really yours to kind of give off questions. And a lot of times, you guys, during those questions, I really understand kind of where we need to be or where we need to go. So hopefully everybody had a great holiday season. It really is fun to be back. I have missed this. I have missed you all, and it feels really good to be here. So thank you. They're asking about Brett. Brett's in the hospital. I told Brett, I said, he's not here. He's in the hospital. I told him, I said, I don't want to cry. He said, Mom, it's happy. Why would you cry? Simply because we've just been through a tremendous amount. But he is in the hospital. His particular regimen of chemo is 5 days, every 21 days in the hospital. This is his second round. He went through the first round. You all saw him. We had our sew-in. He wanted to say thank you because there are so many well wishes, and he came down with pneumonia, which many of you who have dealt with this recognize that that's just part of the game. And it's been a tough road for him. He is strong. He is tough. He has been through a lot. But he is smiling tonight as I left the hospital, and he comes home tomorrow. So many of you have been through this. You know what chemo is about. You know it has ups and downs. You know that every minute you just don't know what the next minute is going to be like. But we are holding strong, and he is tough. As a family, we have pulled together, and we have never been stronger. And Brett is watching from the hospital, or maybe he's taking a nap, but I hope he's taking a nap, but I think he's watching. Anyway, love you, son. And see you tomorrow. I'm converting the wrap blouse to a dress. Okay, but need more circumference at the bottom of the skirt. Okay, when you are slashing, you guys, in general, when you're adding circumference, you do not need to, you know what, before I answer this, I have to say one more thing. I have to say thank you to so many people who are in the medical profession. I guess I've always had an appreciation, but I have a new appreciation because Brett went into the hospital 2 days before Christmas. We didn't get out until after New Year's. We spent the entire holiday season in the hospital, and people show up. They don't care whether it's Christmas. They don't care what day it is. People show up to work. They are dedicated professionals, and I just had to say thank you. Okay, sorry, back to the wrap. The particular wrap blouse already has a princess seam, and when you already have internal seams and side seams, you don't need any more slashing. If you only had a side seam, then I would say yes, slash and add it at even intervals, but because you already have the princess seams, you already have the side seams front and back, that's enough places to add circumference. So get the total circumference you want, divide it by the number of pieces you have, minus out what you already have, and then add the difference, and then just taper up to the waist. Okay? If I were going to use knit fabric for the back and knit fabric for the woven for the front, knit for the back, got it? If you are using, that's a good question. Okay, sorry. You're going to use a woven front, a knit back, which you guys know this is a really strong trend that's going on right now. Woven front, knit back. The reason they're doing it is because there are so many beautiful fabrics that are woven only, and yet we have become so accustomed to knits. We love knits. We love the mobility. We love the look. We love everything about it. You would use a knit armhole. You would use a knit product for the sleeve, so that usually the sleeves match the back, usually. And you would use the knit armhole in doing that combination. Okay, the only thing you're going to do is the front is the woven. And you know, obviously you need to watch for things when you're converting woven to knit, and that is that you can get the garment off and on, and that you've got mobility. Okay, watch for those things. Okay, how do you distribute the neckband on a t-shirt when lining up the seam to the left seam? Well, you still, you know, if you only have, let me give you kind of a different philosophy, because you guys always look at center back and center front, and when you're sewing on a band to a t-shirt, just don't even look at that. What you want to look at is the left seam, and then, or the shoulder seam, I'm sorry, the left shoulder seam and the seam of the band, they go together, and then just take half of the neckline and half of the band. It doesn't matter where it is. Just fold the neckline in half, fold the band in half, match up those two places, and then quarter the band. Just don't use center front, center backs, and right shoulder seam as landmarks, and then it's still halves and quarters. It's just not any particular points that are marked on the pattern. Okay, and it's very easy to do. Just get rid of those marks. Are you guys excited to be back? Sorry. Go ahead for the trench coat. Of course, for the trench coat lining, can you use a polar fleece or quilted fabric, anything you want for lining? Just keep in mind that the roll of lining, go ahead, sorry. Newspaper. All right, smarties. Keep in mind that anything you use, the purpose of lining is to get the garment off and on, you know, easier. It's less wear and tear on the coat itself. So if you're using, you know, quilted fabric, it's going to wear a little faster. It's going to add some thickness, up the sizing just a little bit. Just kind of keep all those things in mind, but you can use anything you want on the insides, absolutely. Color trend for fall, I mean spring, I'm sorry, spring. I'm seasons behind. Well, wait, not going to even go there yet. We're in winter. We're not going to look for spring. I know why you guys look for spring though, because you're so cold that you want something to look forward to, but we haven't got cold here in Dallas. I think we were 70 on Christmas Day or something like that, but anyway, not yet. We're not even going to touch spring until the end of February. We got too many other fun things to do, you guys. All right, what else? Have you been sewing? What have you been sewing? Have you been sewing for yourself? I hope you've been sewing for yourself, you guys. You have to. Everybody has to take a little bit of time for self, right? Yes? Our pattern of the month is 3400. Why did I choose 3400? Because everyone should have this pattern. Everyone on the planet should have this pattern. It fits well. It is the yoga pant. When we did the 500 series, we filmed it in November. And one of the, for those of you who have the series, I think it's show number 4 or show number 5, I can't remember, we did it on denim, and we had a denim expert. This guy's done denim his whole entire life, literally, and he talked about denim, and he talked about what hit the denim industry the hardest, and it was the yoga pant. And it was almost like the denim industry was blindsided. Nobody saw it coming. This yoga pant just kind of rose up out of nowhere. Yoga pants are just the simplest things to make for yourself, and I chose them because it's the beginning of a new year. What do we always do in the beginning of the new year? We vow to exercise, don't we? We vow this year I'm going to get fit, I'm going to get started. Yoga pants can play a role in that. Yoga pants can play a role if we haven't sewn and we've been busy and we're getting back to it. I get emails on a daily basis. I haven't sewn for a while. Where do I start? You start with a yoga pant. It's just, there's nothing bad. It's just a win-win-win. Everyone can wear them. Everyone should wear them. Everyone should like them. If you're shaking your head and say, I don't like them, then you need to change, and we all need to change a little bit. So everybody needs a yoga pant. The jacket pattern, this is the new pattern, Mary's Wrap. Mary's Wrap, it's our PBS pattern, pattern number 65, Mary's Wrap. Can I make the classic pattern pant muslin? Classic would be 3200. Use the changes to make the jeans, which is 3300, and then use that to make 3400. Okay, so or do you need to do all three muslins? So that's like asking me, can I make a t-shirt and then make a blouse and then make a jacket and use the same muslin? So, you know, what differentiates the pant on the bottom part of us is the fabric we're using. So for instance, if I used the classic pant and did it in a stretch fabric, in a stretch woven, then that and the jean would be very similar if I did the jean in a stretch. If I did the jean in a woven, you know, we've got stretch denim and denim. So those are two different muslins. You can't use the same muslin for a blouse and a t-shirt, and that's comparatively what we're talking about here. So there's a different muslin for a knit, there's a different muslin for a woven. It's not really about whether it's a jean or a classic pant or a yoga pant. It's knit versus muslin. A knit is closer to our body, therefore the angles turn quicker. And when they turn quicker, I've got to tighten up those angles with darts. So I'm going to have an increase of darts whenever I'm dealing with a knit. And it's not darts in the external. I mean, I hope you all understand what I'm saying. It's darts that are going to end on the edge of the pattern. They're not going to see them in the final product, but they're built into the angle of the cloth. Okay? Yes. Okay, so alright, so I'm going to convert. Hey, can you hand me that pattern right there? No, yep, right there. I'm going to convert, sorry guys, a wider neck to a t-shirt neck. They're really all called a crew neck, but there are different sizes of crew neck that differentiate them one to another. Alright, so I'm going to use this as an example. What we all know about necklines is they follow the French curve. They should follow the French curve. And they should follow some part of the French curve. So I am going to take my French curve, I had it right here. I'm going to take my French curve, here it is, and I'm going to, what I first would suggest is when you go to your garment, lay it down on the garment. So take the French curve, lay it down on the finished edge. A French curve follows the finished edge, and so you can lay it down and say, pick your numbers, and it's usually on this end of the curve. So you're going to lay it down and do numbers at the shoulder seam, numbers at center front, and that's the shape of the neckline you want. Okay, then go back to your pattern, and I'm going to suppose that your neckline is bigger. You're going to extend the shoulder seam towards center front. It's a straight angle line. You're just going to extend this up. You're going to extend the center front seam straight up, and then you're going to put the French curve on those two numbers between so that you get the neckline you want. Very simple to do. Necklines are probably one of my favorite things to change or teach because they're very simple to do, and for you to gain control, all you have to do is discover what I like. And what I like in terms of numbers on the French curve are very, very important. Okay? Easy enough? Somebody made a pair of yoga pants, first pair, love the fit. They do fit well, you guys. I'm telling you, I have traveled this whole country fitting these yoga pants on all kinds of different bottoms. They fit well. They fit very well. But she's losing weight, which is great news, I guess. Should I cut off the waistband, resize them, and sew back on? I mean, you know, look, this is your call, you guys. You know, I can't answer that. Is it feasibly to do that? Of course. Is it possible to do it? I mean, yes, it's absolutely possible. What I would do, though, as long as I was cutting it apart, I'd cut the whole thing apart, because if you look at the pattern, when it grades down, it grades both sides, it grades center, it grades legs, it grades top, it grades everywhere. So if I were going to go down, I'd just cut off the serging. I'd cut the whole thing apart, and I would at least do it right if I was going to do it. because then it'll fit, it'll fit better. And if you're losing weight, you want to look the best you can. So I would redo the whole thing if I was going to do it. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that question. The question is, a friend wanted to wear yoga pants, but thinks that she is too heavy. That she's too heavy. How do you respond to that? Yoga pants, especially when they came out in the very beginning, I think got a really bad rap because, and maybe still so, because a lot of women wear them, because they're stretch. Every woman can now be a size 2. It's just a matter of how that size 2 looks on the different women. On some of them, that size 2 is so stretched that you can see right through it. And so size is all relative. You can pick the size you want to be. But the tighter your pants are, the heavier you will look. So whenever you're choosing yoga pants, you can, go to a smaller size because it is a knit. But don't go so small that it makes you look heavier. But there's nothing that will make you look more thin than a yoga pant. That's not too tight. Just something that skims the body is the best possible way. And the best analogy I have is it's like a t-shirt and a blouse. You're always going to look more slim in a knitted fabric than you are in a woven fabric, always, across the board. So there's no such thing as too heavy for yoga pants. There is such a thing as too tight for a body. And just don't confuse those two things, because yoga pants are by far our most flattering look. Just don't go off the charts. Don't go too tight. Can you make a yoga pant in a woven? Absolutely. We're going to touch on it tonight because I just put up some new fabrics and I'm going to make reference to them, and they are perfect for making. They are a stretch woven is what they are. You can do it in all. Let's get started. We've gotten to our 15 minutes. Questions are kind of subsiding a little bit, so let's go into yoga pants. And tonight, really what I focused on, or what I want to focus on, a couple things. But number one, getting the yoga pant to fit. But instead of, I've always draped and I've always draped and I've always draped, but I got some questions today, or in the last little while, that made me kind of think that you're getting the draping, but I'm not sure you're getting the translation back to the pattern. So I'm going to work with the pattern tonight as opposed to the draping. All right, so first, okay, sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay, so, yeah, I forgot to answer that. Thank you. Okay, so when she made the neckline smaller, the top moved back on her. The neckline moved back. The shoulder seam moves back. Okay, so what that means is that most likely her back is got more depth or more curve to it than the pattern does. So the easiest way to do that is just to slash the back, start in the center back, right around the shoulder blade area, and just give it a ½ inch of length at center back, taper to nothing at the armholes. It's not going to take a lot. But basically your back is convex. And when we move, it becomes more convex. And if the back of a blouse or something you're wearing is not long enough, it will pull the front back to satisfy the length that the back needs. So if you any pulling back, it's simply saying to you that the back is not long enough, the back needs a little bit more length. Usually that length needs to happen right at the shoulder blade area. It happens because our backs are a little more curved than maybe what I made that pattern to be. I did build a curve into the back, I may not have built enough. So sometimes if we're a little more rounded, that will cause the blouse to pull back. Okay? So just try that. A little slash in the back should do the trick. You can still put the center back on a fold, no big deal. Just straighten out the seam. So I've gotten a lot of comments, and I'm hoping that as I go through tonight I can address all those different comments, because so many of them are so good, and well, we won't go there. Alright, so let's start with the yoga pant. Let's just assume first time out of the box we're just going to make it in a knit. The knit has one-way stretch that goes around. I recommended Eileen Fisher because literally these are my absolute favorite pair of yoga pants. I honestly could live at them. I did kind of at the hospital this last month, and all I did was taper the bottoms, and the bottoms are about 13 inches rather than the typical yoga pant is about 20. I'll show you how to do that. They're Eileen Fisher. They're the fabric Eileen Fisher. I'm telling you, I loved them. I slept in them. I just lived in them, and can't say I looked great, but I looked halfway decent. Is that fair? Considering I was living at the hospital. All right, so the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to make up a muslin. And the muslin, we want it to be similar in fabric. I'm a big believer in muslin, you all know that, but I really do think with the yoga pant, you're determining the circumference. And typically when I traveled and had all those ladies, I would measure their hips and I would go down a size. So on the back of the pattern, I would measure whatever their hips were, not sitting, standing, okay? Then I would pick the size and go down one. And I'm going to tell you, across the board, that worked really, really well. Now, we had all the sizes to try on, but I will tell you that what made a difference is your personality. Some women would try on the pant, and everybody would say, oh my gosh, those just look fabulous. And the woman would say, no, they're just too tight. Everybody said, no, 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 they're just fine. And then she'd go up a size, because I had all the sizes made. She'd go up a size, and she'd try on the one that she was comfortable in, and everyone told her, nope, those don't look good. They're too big, they're too baggy, da-da-da-da-da. You look like grandma. So yoga pant looks good taut but not tight. And you all know the difference, so I don't even need to go there. Just don't get them too tight. I don't care how young you are, how great a body you have, it's not about that. Just don't get them too tight. But generally, wrap the tape measure around your hip and go down one size. Okay. So that's with just a regular fabric that has one-way stretch. If a fabric has two-way stretch, then that fabric will naturally stretch and you may have to go down two sizes. That's circumference. Okay, once you've picked out the circumference, you're going to make up a muslin. The reason I started this is because I think this is a pattern that you could probably make a wearable muslin. And I say that because so many of you have come to workshops and you've showed me your pants and you said, these are my wearable yoga pants, do you like them? And they look really good. And then we make a few little changes, but they're so much better than what you can buy in the store, etc., etc. So, I think it's very doable. It's your call from there. If you just don't want to do that, then find a knit that's similar and then go ahead and make that knit. Okay, so the most common alteration you will have. Now again, circumference, I'm already going to push that out the window. If you have any circumference issues, let me know. Ask now, because I'm going to assume that you already understand that circumference is good. Length is also good, because with the yoga pant, because it's knit, you wear them below your waist anyway, and you can change the waist where you want them to go. But if you have a tummy and you have generally you like to wear your pant a little lower in the front, you kind of scoop out the front. A lot of times you'll scoop out the front of the pant, but that is done many times. I can do that after I make the pant. I don't have to make a muslin to do that. Okay, depth, this is what you're going to make a muslin for. Okay, so the very most common change, and it should come first before you make any other change. This change should be the very first change you should make. It comes at the hip line. It's a dart, and the size of it will depend on how baggy the pants are. If the pants are baggy below your rear end, this is the culprit. This is where it's coming from. And it's on the back only. Okay, listen to me. The back only. You guys are going to say, where do I do that? The back only. You only do it in the back. You take this little dart right here and you taper it to nothing at the side seam. Okay, that's it. Now this will depend on how baggy the pant is, and that's generally why you make the muslin. But we all know, because I've seen a zillion pair of pants out there, that women wear baggy pants. They don't have any butt and they wear baggy pants. So you could make the first pair, maybe don't make them out of your most favorite pair, but then clean this up and reach back right at the hip line, pick up that bag. You'll see it'll just clean it right up, and then fix it on your pattern. With Eileen Fisher fabric, I went down one size. So yes, I would. Don't go down two though, because keep in mind, you can always make a pant smaller. You can't make it bigger. So don't make tight yoga pants. Doesn't matter. Full tummy plus full bottom, you're still going to measure that pant and go down a size. Okay? And sometimes with larger women, I actually went down two sizes. Again, it depends. What's the difference between regular and W sizes? W sizes have a larger waist. However, if you notice with a yoga pant, you're not going to see the differences in W sizes that you do in the tops, because W has more to do with the shoulders and the arms and the sleeves and all that kind of stuff. So if you notice in the yoga pant, some of the W's and some of the regular sizes cross one another and become very, very close, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. No, we got a question that goes to Barbara's Trench. What about it? Alright, so she's saying, this is Barbara's Trench. She's going back to Barbara's trench coat. She doesn't know what to use for a size because her winter coats are too baggy. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're the only one who can determine size. So if everything you have is too baggy, what I would do is I would go shopping. I would go to the store and I would try on all those coats because they're free when you try them on. Find the one you like, measure the circumference, and then come back. That's what I would do, because to me, an hour at the mall or whatever it is a whole lot less time than making up a muslin and guessing. I'm not a guesser. All right? No. Ah! Who said that? Scooping is not allowed. Scooping makes it longer. Don't do that. It's already too long. This is crotch depth. This is crotch length. I'm sorry. Crotch depth goes this way. If you want to increase crotch depth, that's the length of the body. You add at the waist all the way around. That drops the crotch down. That's crotch depth. Okay? Crotch depth can only go up or down. It's only added at the top or taken away at the top, and it drops the crotch down. This is crotch length. It's the depth of the body. This is crotch length. Okay? If you want to change it, and it's usually too long, pants are usually made too long, that's where the dart comes into play. Don't scoop, because if you're scooping, you're changing too many other things. It's a domino effect. Don't do that. Don't scoop. No scooping. Please don't scoop. No, you should never change a... Okay, sorry. I have a short rise, and I usually take a certain amount off the waist. Should I do that with the yoga pant on the front? No, don't do any premedicated changes. Again, I'm going to tell you, I've done this pattern for, I don't know how many women. We were in Hancock stores. I went traveling the whole country doing Hancock stores. We had a lot of women trying on these pants. I don't know that even 6 changed. I don't care how tall you are or short you are. Don't make any changes. Make the pattern up. Then if you have reason to change it, but don't change it automatically. I'm just trying to help you, you guys. Well, okay, so the question is that her inseam is too long, so whenever she makes up pants, her belly gets covered up, and she doesn't want her belly to get covered up, I'm assuming, because that's why she's asking this. So just make up the pant. Don't put the band on. And then just cut the top of the pant off and then put the band on. You don't really need to make a muslin for that. Again, length can be changed after the pattern is made. Depth cannot be. These darts that are, you know, integrated within the pattern, they cannot be changed after the pattern's done. But if I were worried about it being too high, just make the pattern, don't put the band on. Try them on. If they're too high, just cut them off the top. That's what I would do. Okay, when you're putting side pockets on the abdomen on a yoga pant, how can you adjust the pattern for a larger abdomen? This is so the pocket won't gap. This is your best friend. You guys need to understand how to use this French curve, okay, because a French curve goes along the side. So here's the pattern, here's the French curve, and you can see it matches. If I slide this French curve way down, or actually a lot of patterns you buy are on this end of the French curve, and if you look at that, you can see that there's a big chunk here. It's at the waist and it's at the hip, but there's a big chunk here that it doesn't align. So it doesn't matter how much circumference you keep adding out here. If you don't get the right shape, then your pockets will pull. So you have to have two things. You have to have the right circumference, and you have to have the right shape of that circumference. So both of those things need to be observed if you don't want the pockets to pull. In general, I think a yoga pant and pockets are a little bit contradictory in my mind. That doesn't mean you can't have them. you know, etc., etc. But a yoga pant is a very slim fitting, a little bit of negative ease type pant, and then to try to put a pocket in that, you know, I don't think it's your best pairing. But they're your pants and your pockets, and you guys do whatever you want. Do I need to make a change for high hip on one side? You do. You want the change to be where the body change is, because the rest of the pant will hang straight. So if you have a high hip, absolutely make that change. The crotch length is this. I don't think you need to increase it. Are you sure they need to increase it? Just worry that you guys don't know the terminology, but I won't worry that. I'll just take you at face value and say that you know what you're saying and you want to increase this right here. If that's the case, you slash from center back over to the side and you open the pant up right in here. You open it up. And if you need to increase crotch length, then what the pant will do is it will pull down at center back. You'll have a V at center back. It'll be like your rear end is popping out of the back of those pants. And that it happens, but it's not often. And it's not often in the yoga pant because it's knit. So I don't even know if I've ever slashed a rear end on the yoga pant. So see, again, you guys, I think that we're taking a lot of, here's what I find. I find that you struggle with fit, but you still want to do the same thing repeatedly on every pattern you come to. Well, it's not working, so stop doing that and let's listen and, you know, follow this. Alright? And I promise all I'm trying to do is get you to where you love your pants and they fit, etc., etc. Okay? Absolutely. If I make them go below my waist, they just won't stay up. So can I have them above my waist? You can get them anywhere you want. They should be at a place where they feel secure, obviously. But it doesn't mean you can't go below your tummy and your front and at your waist and your back, and that will hold them up. That's what I would recommend. I don't care how big your tummy is. Most of you all can go below your tummy in the front and then at your higher in the back. The front and the back of this pant do not need to be the same. They can be whatever I want. All they have to do is meet at the sides. So I've draped lots of women who want it lower in the front, but again, if you want it higher in the front, that's okay. It's nothing, it's your pant. As long as you're comfortable with them, it's good. And we're usually not wearing tucked in shirts anywhere on yoga pants. I'm going to show you some great looks with yoga pants so that you can really mix them up and really get a great total look. Alright, the second change you're going to do, if you have bagginess under the rear end, the first one is going to be at the hip line. Number one, don't shortcut anything else. Please don't do anything else. The second one is going to be at the top of the inseam. Okay? Right there at the top of the inseam. First one is here, second one is here, top of the inseam. Don't do this one first. Many of you, because the extra fabric is under the rear end, you want to do this one first. Don't do that. This is not the problem. When you do that, this becomes too big. And it's not meant to be that large, and it's meant to be a secondary, not a primary. Do this one first. It will clean up almost everything, if not everything. And if you have anything left, do this one. Okay, if you do this one, number two, then you have to do the front to correspond. This seam sews to itself, so you have nothing else to change. Center back is center back, and it's good to go. If you change the top of the inseam on the back, you'll need to change the top of the inseam on the front. Okay? There are some of you, simply because the way our bodies are made, because the way we accumulate fat, for whatever reason, the front will have little, we call them parentheses, guides, sunshine, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, you know, arrows. We don't like that look. You're going to take a little dart and you're going to take it right at the base of the curve of the inseam on the front, and only on the front, because the front sews to itself, and you're going to take it right there. It will taper all the way across over here to nothing. It will not be in the final product. You need to do it in the pattern, not the pant. Okay, so all of those are really important that we do in the muslins. Those darts, those horizontal darts, will clean up the pant completely. Okay. The darts, 3 possible darts, one in the front, one in the back, both coming from center front, center back, And then if you have another one, it'll be at the top of the inseam, and if it's in the back, it'll be in the front. If it's in the front, it'll be in the back. Oh my gosh, you guys. I've worn yoga pants to black tie. Absolutely. Please don't think yoga pants. You don't ever have to exercise and you can wear yoga pants. Is that a good statement for 2016? It doesn't mean you shouldn't exercise. I'm not going to say that, but I'm just saying you don't have to exercise to wear yoga pants. And yes, because it all depends on the fabric. And because they're so popular right now, you get a beautiful fabric. You could get a stretch velvet. You could get all kinds of things like that and make these pants really super dressy. They're beautiful. They really are. Just my suggestion would be don't wear just yoga pants, because you can gain weight and never even know you're gaining if you only wear yoga pants. You got to get back into those woven pants every once in a while to kind of check your weight and make sure you're not putting it on too much, too fast. Y'all understand. Okay, so let's look at the bottoms, because we're going to narrow the hems. Alright, so the bottom of the yoga pant, the pattern itself is roughly 18, and that's by the time I measure the front and the back. That changes with size, but I'm just going to use some approximate numbers just so that you kind of understand what we're doing. Alright, so I want to go from 18 and I want to go down to 13, so I'm going to take away 5 inches and I've got 4 seams. Easy enough? Obviously each seam is 1 1/4 inches, and that's with seam allowance, without seam allowance, it's total, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to take it from here, taper to the knee. I'm going to take it in 1 1/4 inches here, taper it. I'm going to go on all 4 seams. And that's 2 in the front, 2 in the back. I've got 4 total seams. I'm taking away 5 inches, so 1 1/4 inches on each of those, taper to nothing at the knee, will deliver. Now, if you are changing the bottom and you know that number, obviously you got that number from somewhere. I would measure the knee as well, because it's possible if the hem is being narrowed, that the knee is being narrowed also, so do both, okay? And just check your numbers to make sure that the leg has the shaping that you want it to have. And it's a really easy, fun thing to do. The best thing I would do is go shopping for yoga pants and then come home and make them. Try on a whole bunch, figure out what you like. It's just a little bit of R&R, and then come home and make them. If you take out the Okay, good. Alright. If you take out the dart in the back, you get a wedgie. Okay? That's because, remember, this is crotch length. That's because your crotch depth is too short. A wedgie is not crotch length, it's depth. So it just means that the crotch depth was too short in the first place, and now that you got the crotch length right, it's showing you that the depth is too short. So once you take out this and you get the wedgie, you add this hole so that it drops down the crotch, makes it perfect. Okay, good. I'm glad you said that. Because it's really important that we know crotch length from crotch depth, so that when we fix one, we know what we're doing and we don't think it's messing up something else. Okay? Yeah, my camera guy's looking at me funny like, what did you just say? Anyway. For shortening the leg length. Oh, where should you shorten the leg? It doesn't matter. As long as you know what the final circumference is, just chop it off the bottom and redraw the width to be what you want it to be. It's too much work to kind of take it internally to preserve a bottom when the bottom may be too wide for what you want anyway. You should know your styling. That's styling. That's not fit. Styling is the width of the leg, the width of the knee, the width of the hem. All those things are styling. And I gave you styling because it was really popular, but it doesn't mean you'll like it. I mean, I think you will. Most people do. But, still check it with pants you wear. It just might be too much for you. So when you go to shorten that leg, you can just take it right off the bottom. Then if you want it wider, just add it back in. It's really 6 of one, half a dozen of another. It doesn't make a difference. All right, are we good with that? Okay, so that means everybody at this point should have beautifully fitted yoga pants. All right, let's talk a little bit about fabrics. All right, I put up, and I'm going to refer to them, I put up 3 new, oh, you know what I forgot? Christy asked me to show her this fabric. And so I'm going to show her this fabric. This is, I don't know if this will help or not. It's called the Blues. It's a laminated denim. It's from France, and she wanted to see it. So I told her I would show it on the webcast. I'm not sure what she wanted to see, but there it is. Okay, maybe she could see drape a little bit better. I don't know, but it's a really beautiful fabric. Okay, so if I want to make a yoga pant out of a fabric that doesn't stretch, I can do that. I've just got to, the beauty of the yoga pant was that it was kind of like those old elastic pants that Grandma used to wear, except those were so big because they were made out of woven fabric and they had to stretch to go over. We have knit fabrics now. We have very sophisticated knit fabrics. They're beautiful knit fabrics, and so they'll stretch and then come back, and so when we have them on, everything's nice and smooth. Okay? Okay, let's go back, sorry. If you took out a dart, you took out the dart, that reduced crotch length. When you added it up here, it wasn't a dart, it was a solid piece all the way across, the same amount, and that's length. So it lengthened the pant, but shortened the depth. Now, that is not the easiest concept to understand, especially if it's the first time you're hearing it, but we have done a tonnage of webcasts on it. Go back under pants, go back under yoga pants, go back under jeans, go back under all those and re-watch those. Buy the pant DVD. It doesn't matter what you do, but you will get that information. It's 3D versus flat. And because we have gone over it enough, you know, I mean, like in other things, it's a hard concept to get in the beginning. I'm not going to tell you it's not, but you'll get it. Just differentiate between the depth and darting and length. Okay? Is the yoga, say that again? The woven yoga pant fitting only in different in the stretch fabric pant, only in circumference. That's the only place you're going to change is the circumference, because the fabric itself won't stretch to get over your rear end. So you have to make the pant, the waistband, at least the size of your rear end. So what I do, if I'm using a woven pant, a woven fabric, is I'll make the waistband and I will put it on. I mean, I'll actually make it, and then make sure I can get it off and on, and then as long as I can get it off and on, I take that waist size and cut it down to my hip size, but cut it down to my actual hip size. Don't go 2 sizes smaller, don't go a size smaller, don't do any of that anymore. Now that's your hip size sitting. You've got to have the ease built into your fabric. So you want to wrap the tape around your hip and sit and use that size for the hip, and then use the size that goes over your rear end for the waist, and just literally connect those two together. Okay, very easy to do. Look at your tissue, go from one size to another. It's easy to do. Very easy to do. You just got to be aware that you're not going to use the same size all the way around, because you're switching up the nature of the pattern itself. You're now making it out of woven. It wasn't meant to be made out of woven. But you can do it, and it turns out beautiful. I've gotten many pairs. Okay, a stretch woven is nice. It's kind of a blend of the two. It looks woven, but it doesn't have as much stretch as a knit, but the pants are gorgeous. And when people say all the time, well, we can't wear yoga pants to work, yeah, you can. You can. You've just got to make them out of a stretch woven to where nobody will even know they're yoga pants. They look like regular slacks, and they're gorgeous. So you can wear yoga pants to work. You can wear them everywhere. Okay, just an FYI. All right, are we good? This is 65, the one I have on. You know, the pattern is the left and right side are, I don't remember if they're cut the same or not. It's in the pattern. I don't remember. They are treated a little bit differently simply because there's a button, you know, if you decide to close this, I have it open, but if you decide to close it, it kind of closes like that. And it's left open at the bottom. It's just really, I love this. This is that fabric that we have that's kind of those sheer, anyway, I love this top. Love it. I saw it on a girl who was at the airport. I was at the airport and she had this top on and I chased her down and found out where she bought it from. I mean, I really liked it that much. Anyway, went, found the top, copied the top, made the top. So, crazy story. How do you hem the bottom of the pant leg? I serge it, turn it up, top stitch 1 inch. That's what I do. And you know what I do that? Because that's how the stores do it. And I want them to look like they're store made. Yep, sorry. Release just means not stitched. In pattern making, you cannot eliminate a dart. You just can't do it. So the only option you have to a dart is you can either stitch it or you can release it. The bust dart can't be released where it is because the side seams won't match. So you have to, on a bust dart, you either have to stitch it or you have to move it. You can move it to the waist and you can release it there because then the waist is just full. But you can't, releasing just means not stitching it. It's still in the pattern. You can still find it there if you compared it to the base. Okay? Okay, so now what I want to do is talk about, you've got the yoga pants, everything's going to fit. I want to talk about some tops, and we've got a little special going for you. 3 tops. We did it because I thought they were all great combinations. 112, 231, 313. I'm going to show you why I picked these 3. The first one, Casey's 5-way top. I picked this one because Casey actually, when she showed it to me, it was in a yoga magazine. I mean, these are actually made for, you know, for doing yoga, and then because they look so great, you can throw them on and it looks so much dressier. So I did just that. I wanted you to see you could wear it with a belt or without a belt, and what the belt does is it really doesn't even show, but it gives the body a little bit of silhouette. This is 112. Absolutely love this. Absolutely love it. I did it here, and I put a zipper. You know, 112 has this long front. At the very middle of the front, I put a zipper. So what that zipper would do is it's a separating zipper is what I used. It will separate, it will unzip, and then you have so many options of what to do with these pieces. I mean, it really just becomes a lot of fun. And there was a webcast some time ago where I showed all the different options that you can wrap this thing around, tie. There's just lots of great ideas. And all it is when I take this to the front, in Casey's 5-way top, in the directions, we have the different ways you can wear it. We have them all illustrated so you can follow along. This is right at the middle. So instead of putting this on the fold, I cut it. And this is just black rayon knit is what this is. And as I have made several of them, the black rayon knit, I'm telling you, is the one I wear the most. I just wear it all over the place. It's so incredibly comfortable with yoga pants. It's really a nice combination together. Also, let me just show you that if you have a tummy, this is a great top for you because it absolutely camouflages a tummy. It really is such a nice look. This is pattern number 125. It's that Wild Woman knit. And this is the new beige that I put up. And it's just really a pretty combination. Alright, so 112. That's 112. And again, here what I did on this one over here, let me just show you. On this one that's on the mannequin, it's the same. I did it with Anne's top, number 115 underneath, and I did the same fabric. And that way it's really just a very dressy look. And keep in mind that I can do this many different ways. I have a tendency, I put a seam at the front, even though I put the pattern on a fold when I made it, because the seam kind of tells you where to put what. But if you just take this and wrap it over your shoulders, it really makes a nice little shawl. Your little hands come out here. You can work right through it. You can take your hands to the front. Really gives you a lot. But this is 115 Anne's top, and then this is the Casey's 5-way top, and it's made out of the same fabric. So they're just really pretty when they do it together, and very dressy with a pair of black yoga pants. It hardly looks like you're going to the gym. It's really a nice casual, but it still feels like pajamas, so it's a great look. Yoga pants are my pajamas. They're my pajamas. They're my black tie. My old yoga pants I wear to sleep in. You know, they just kind of progress down the road as they get old. That's what I do, is sleep in them, and then I make new ones and keep going. We've got some great blacks online, some great, beautiful. I would make your first pair black because they just make you look skinny. That's the bottom line. Everybody wants to look a little skinnier. Okay, then that's 112. Then I did 231, Catherine's button sleeve top. Catherine Melodrano is a designer. She's in Saks, she's in Neiman's. Love this little top. The reason I did it is it gives us some great options for the shoulder area. In this particular case, I made this sleeveless. I made it sleeveless because right now as I'm sewing, I'm thinking about spring. Remember, I told you I wasn't, but I kind of am. So what I did is I made this sleeveless, and then I put this over. So for right now, it's winter, and I can kind of bundle up, and then I can wear something light and lacy and much lighter weight in another couple months. I love the snaps at the shoulder. Instead of buttons, I did snaps, and those little silver snaps are adorable. And then I would do a little silver belt, so it really picked up the silver, so you'd get the duplication of the silver. This is what the blouse looks like, and it is the blouse to use if you are wanting to, as most of us are as sewers, if you've just got great buttons and you really want to show those off. They're a beautiful focal point. They're physically workable buttons. You don't have to make them. You could just sew through all the layers, but they go up one sleeve and then to the neck opening. Very easy top to fit, very easy to sew, but really nice looking. Yes. When making a woven yoga pant, when you're making a woven yoga pant, you make the waistband the size of your hip. The elastic should be the size of your waist. Yeah, the elastic is what's going to pull that waistband in. What to do if what? Sorry? Too wide for the pattern? No, you guys don't worry about your thighs. I mean, I got you covered on this. I'm telling you, I've been doing this for a little while. This pant fits well. 65 is only on the Fit to Stitch site. You got to go to fittostitch.com, click on the 500 series, and Mary's wrap is right there. It's not on the Silhouette Pattern website. It's too new. Right now it's free shipping. I think that goes through the end of this week. Free shipping on the pattern. Yes, but I don't know the name because it's brand new. We just put it up this last few days. It's great. It's a knit. It's a viscose knit from France. It's really beautiful. Very, very pretty. I want to show you another pattern that I did, and I made some changes to it, and I love these changes, so I wanted to show it to you. The blue. I'm not sure. What's the question? What blue? This is black. This is black. The reason I picked up black is when I was doing this, you guys, I was doing a little conglomerate. I wanted it to all go together. So let me show you my thought process, and you'll see where I was going with all these. Okay, so this is Terry's top. It's pattern number 313, thanks to Terry. Terry gave me her shirt so I could copy it. What I was looking for when I made this pattern was I wanted a V-neck. And as you know, V-necks, you can't have a V-neck that doesn't have some kind of binding. So this had a seam in the front, and it has a front facing, and I loved that. I absolutely loved it. But I made a pattern change on this, and I want you to see it. Go ahead. This? My Blue Heaven. Is it textured? No. No, it feels like a cotton knit. That's what it feels like. It's a viscose, but it feels just like a cotton knit. It's really very pretty. You'll love the fabric. Are we okay with that? Okay, so back to this. Terry's top. It's really, it could be a golf shirt. It could be a tennis shirt. It's got a little shawl collar, and you know, it's got a French dart. I mean, it's a great little top. It's just a really simple, great little top. It works really well under jacket because the necklines don't conflict, and yet That V-neck gives you a really beautiful long elongated look. Okay, now I want you to notice there's two here, and they're both Terry's top, and I purposely made them to be worn together because I just love the look. This is a little pullover. This one has a stand-up collar to it, and I'm going to show you how I made that. Very easy change to make. And then I'm going to take this off and then show you the one underneath. Now this black is that wool hair, it's wool mohair. It's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful to work with. It really is. It does not stretch out of shape. It's beautiful fabric. We've got some black and we've got some purple. So this is the purple, and this is a new fabric I just put up, and you could do the purple, and the purple would look really cute. The reason I did the black was because I was coordinating it with my blue heaven, and so I wanted this to coordinate with this and the blacks to go together to pick up. If I'd done it in purple, I love it, but I could only, it just limited it a little bit more. So this is the neckline, no changes to it. This is just as it's made, and then what I did is I made that neckline wider so it could flip over. So that's what I want to show you. And what I'm going to do is show you the piece. So the pattern itself looks like this. It's got a little shawl collar, it's got kind of a V-neck, and then it's cut not on the fold, it's a seam up the front. Then you've got a front facing, and the front facing finishes off that neck, so it obviously looks the same, except that it's on the fold because you don't need two seams in the front. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I put it on my little piece of paper, and I did this in a different color so you all could see it. I'm going to just make one little change. So I put it right there, I traced around the whole thing, and if you notice, this is the center back seam, and I made it wider this way. So this will measure about 2 inches. It'll change a little bit. I doubled that. So whatever width it is, double it going towards center front, and then you're just going to add on some type of shaping that takes it into the original line. Okay, now I'm going to show you with my French curve how I did it. So you can do that if you want, or if you want to do it another way, you can do another way. Let me get my glasses so I can read the numbers for you. Okay, so again, I brought it in 2 inches. That's the center front fold, so the point I'm bringing it into is right here. So what I did is, because I wanted it to be curve out, because remember it's going to fold over, I used, on my curve, I went from 18 to 10. 18 to 10, right here, I'm about an inch out from center front, and then I literally just brought it right back in to the front piece, and I went from 16 to 19. So I did 2 positions of the French curve. The first one was like this. There was a mark there about an inch out from there, and then I flipped it around. So you can see that the neckline goes out and then comes back in to meet right up to the facing. So I'm going to put this back on because I want you to see the difference of the necklines. And I was really thinking I wanted to wear this. It's been cold lately, but I thought, no, I can't wear it before the webcast. But I'm telling you, no, I'm not raising the V-neck at all. Okay, hang on, I'll show that in just a minute. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm making this portion wider so that it rolls, and it has a little nice roll to it. And when you do that, it kind of sets up a little framing for the collar that's left the same below it. Okay? So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to change that neck edge to where on the outer one, Ralph Lauren does this a lot. Ralph Lauren chaps, he's got tops that have that little shawl collar roll, and they're just really a nice look. And so on an outer garment as opposed to something that you're wearing underneath a jacket. Alright? If you wanted to raise the V up, you can just extend center front up and as high as you want to bring it up. Just do it both on the facing and the pattern front. But these 2 pieces are the same. One's got a fold and one doesn't have a fold, but all you have to do is extend center front up and then redraw that. Okay, and that'll bring the... Oh, you couldn't see that? Oh, you couldn't see it on the green paper? Okay, so let's try it again. Oh, you can't see the markings. I even tried green paper because I thought you could see it. All right, we're going to do it closer. This will kind of be crude, but you'll be able to see it. Okay, so here you have, I can't hold it with that hand. Here you have it, and where I made it wider, thank you, we've got 8 people holding this thing, is right here. So you see that this is all the shoulder area. Don't change that, just add it out here, double the width, and then you're going to bring it down here to the front. Can you see the black line? Okay, and you bring it right back into this. You don't change this, just go out and bring it back in. Okay? I'm glad y'all told me you couldn't see, because this is an adorable neckline. I mean, just really cute. Okay. If the thighs of the pant are too wide, oh, I misunderstood. I thought if your thighs. Okay, if you have like a tummy and little tiny thighs, you should be choosing the pattern for your thighs. Because once I go from the thighs, I can always then go to the waist size I want. If it's only a little bit too big, you can go to the side seams and take them away. But if they're too big, go to that size, make that size, and then go from one thigh size to one hip size to one waist size. You don't have to use all the same size on this yoga pant. I mean, when I made them all in the same sizes, but there was times I put them onto women and said, you know, make a smaller thigh size and then blend it with this and blend it with that. Okay? Okay. Everybody good? What we're going to do, so we've got a couple specials going. We've got Mary's Wrap. There's no shipping on that this week. And then we've got the 3 patterns, and I think they're $34 for all 3. And those are all your companion pieces that you'll have a great little wardrobe. Quick to make, easy, very simple. Of those 3 options and lots of different styles that you can do them with. In 2 weeks, the next webcast, what we're going to do is I'm going to make a pair of yoga pants for you. So I'm going to cut them out and make them live. We're going to have a little sew-a-thon, but it won't last long because yoga pants are so easy. So I'm going to make me a new pair of yoga pants, and I'm going to invite you all to watch, okay? Is that a deal? So what we'll do is we'll see you back in 2 weeks. It'll be January 25th, which is a Monday. The good news is Brett will not be in the hospital. We hope. We hope he'll be home. Our Brett's brother Christopher came home from Portland. We had everybody here. I'm telling you, we've had a difficult but wonderful holiday season. And again, I can't say enough thanks to all of you. You're so supportive. Cards you sent to Brett, I'd go to the hospital and take him cards. He just had a smile all over his face. Thank you. Thank you so much. The fit to stitch pattern is no shipping. So typically it's $19.99 plus your shipping. Right now it's no shipping. No, the DVD and the pattern combo is over. Yeah. The 3 patterns are $112. Oh. And it's right on the front page of the website. If you go, it'll say Yoga Tops Special. That's what we're calling it. Yoga Tops Special. Okay? Oh, thank you guys so much. Thank you all so much. We're really holding together. For all of you who have been through this, you know it is not easy. And the fact that we are through this webcast, we are really happy. Okay? So we will see you in 2 weeks. If you guys are either in, let's see, I'm going to Oregon, Portland area, Eugene, and there, and we're going to be in San Diego and Irvine. So come see us. Come see me, and we'll say hi. And other than that, we'll see you in 2 weeks, and we'll make a pair of yoga pants. All right, good night all. Hi, Brett. See you later. Bye.